Urgent, Jason Tatum makes a strong statement about the Lakers. Stay until the end to find out everything, but first leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Lakers news. In the vast tapestry of professional basketball, few narratives loom as large, or as enduring, as the rivalry between the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. Spanning decades, coasts, and cultural epochs, it is more than just a competition between two teams. It's a clash of philosophies, of color schemes, of iconic superstars whose very identities have shaped the NBA's global identity. And now, in the modern era, this historical tension finds new breath through the words and presence of Jason Tatum, a superstar born decades after the rivalry's most fiery years, yet deeply aware of its pulse. In a recent post-game interview following a Celtics-Lakers matchup, Tatum spoke candidly, "The rivalry is alive. The NBA is better when the Celtics and Lakers are both competitive." These words, while simple, ring with profound reverence for basketball history. Tatum wasn't even alive during the epic 1980s duels between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. He was barely 10 years old when Kobe Bryant and Paul Pierce reignited the flame in the 2008 and 2010 NBA Finals. And yet, he carries the torch, not just as the Celtics' current face, but as a student of the game. For younger fans who may only know the rivalry through YouTube highlight reels or vintage jerseys, Tatum's statement is a reminder. This isn't just about team records or TV ratings. It's about legacy. And legacies don't fade, they evolve. The Celtics and Lakers are tied with the most championships in NBA history, each hoisting 17 banners as of the 2020 season. But the numbers are only part of the story. There's something poetic in the symmetry. Boston, steeped in blue-collar grit, defensive tenacity, and a culture of collective excellence. Los Angeles, radiant with glamour, individual brilliance, and the kind of stardom that transcends sport. Tatum, a proud disciple of Kobe Bryant, finds himself in a curious place, honoring his idol in purple and gold while wearing Celtic green. This duality isn't lost on fans. And perhaps, it's precisely this tension that gives Tatum a unique position in the rivalry. He understands both sides. He respects the Lakers yet seeks to defeat them. He idolized Kobe, but embraces the spirit of Bill Russell. When asked about the significance of Celtics versus Lakers in today's NBA, Tatum doesn't hesitate. It means something more. There's a weight to those games. The history, the fans, the colors, it brings out the best in everybody. This awareness elevates the spectacle. It's not just about standings, it's about storytelling. Every Celtics-Lakers game is a new chapter in an old book, written by new characters but bound by the same themes: pride, power, and passion. In today's NBA, globalized, data-driven, and at times overly sanitized, the idea of rivalry can seem antiquated. Players switch teams often. Friendships transcend franchises. The edge of competition can blur under the haze of mutual respect. But some matchups still crackle with old fire. And when the parquet meets the purple, the stakes always feel higher. That's what Tatum is tapping into. Not nostalgia but continuation. As we step into an era where basketball's new stars shape the league's direction, Tatum's voice matters. He isn't merely reflecting on the past, he's staking a claim in its future. By embracing the Celtics-Lakers rivalry, he reaffirms that greatness isn't just about winning, it's about meaning. It's about understanding the jersey you wear and the weight it carries. So when Tatum says the NBA is better when Celtics and Lakers are at their best, he's not just echoing tradition. He's making a call to arms, to compete with purpose, to play with reverence, and to honor the court as sacred ground. When a young Jason Tatum first pulled on a Boston Celtics jersey, he wasn't just donning team colors, he was stepping into a dynasty. Not a dynasty of fleeting fame or recent dominance, but one forged in the fires of decades past, built by legends whose names hang in the rafters of TD Garden like commandments carved in stone. Russell, Cousy, Havlicek, Bird, Pierce. The Celtics are not merely a team, they are a legacy, a living organism of culture, tradition, and excellence. And Tatum knew it from the very beginning. Drafted third overall in 2017, Tatum entered the league with promise. But what he found in Boston wasn't just an opportunity, it was a responsibility. From his first playoff appearance as a rookie, he carried himself with the poise of someone who understood that being a Celtic meant more than scoring points. It meant understanding the values of the franchise: selflessness, toughness, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of championships. Unlike many young stars who enter the NBA aiming to build their personal brands, Tatum took a different path. He immersed himself in Celtics lore. He listened. He studied. He watched film not just to prepare for opponents but to learn from past greats. He spoke reverently of Paul Pierce and sought mentorship from Kevin Garnett. But above all, he carried the ghost of the greatest Celtic of them all, Bill Russell. Russell's legacy casts a long shadow over Boston. 11 championships. An unbreakable will. A fierce advocate for justice and dignity in the face of unimaginable pressure. While Tatum is not a center, nor does he dominate with blocks and rebounds, he mirrors Russell's ethos in subtler ways: poise under pressure, commitment to team success, and a quiet but unshakable sense of purpose. And yet, what makes Tatum's relationship with Boston particularly fascinating is that he didn't grow up a Celtics fan. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, he was raised as a devoted admirer of Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. His bedroom walls were covered in purple and gold. He studied Kobe's footwork. He mimicked his fadeaway. He lived for those late-night battles in Staples Center. This contrast, idolizing a Laker legend while leading the Celtics, creates an emotional paradox that fuels Tatum's competitive fire. It's not lost on him. In interviews, he's reflected on how surreal it is to go from worshiping Kobe to now trying to beat the franchise that defined Kobe's greatness. It's like coming full circle, Tatum once said. I wanted to be like Kobe. Now I want to beat the Lakers for Boston. It is in this space, between personal history and professional identity, that Tatum's true power emerges. He understands that rivalries are not about hatred. They're about respect. About proving yourself against the best. About continuing a dialogue started long before you were born, in games played on parquet floors and broadcast in grainy black and white. Tatum embraces this history not with arrogance, but with reverence. Every time he laces up his sneakers for a Celtics-Lakers game, he steps into a storyline much bigger than himself. He knows it, and he thrives in it. This deep connection to Celtics tradition is visible in the way he leads. Tatum doesn't need to shout or pound his chest to command respect. He leads by example, through his preparation, his resilience, and his loyalty to the franchise that trusted him to carry the torch. In an era where superstars frequently change teams in search of the next best situation, Tatum remains rooted, grounded, proud to build something in one place just like the legends before him. As the face of the modern Celtics, Jason Tatum represents both continuity and evolution. He honors the past while carving his own path. He plays a game shaped by the present, but guided by the ghosts of champions. And in doing so, he ensures that the Celtics remain what they've always been. More than just a team, they're a standard. In this ongoing rivalry with the Lakers, Tatum is not just fighting for wins. He's fighting to uphold tradition, to write his name alongside those who came before him, and to ensure that when the next generation of Celtic stars emerges, they too will know the weight and the honor of wearing green. For most of his life, Jason Tatum didn't dream in Celtic green. He dreamed in purple and gold. Before the NBA, before Duke, before his name echoed in Boston Garden, there was a young boy in St. Louis who worshipped Kobe Bryant. Not just admired, worshipped. While other kids collected sneakers or posters, Tatum studied. He watched film obsessively. He mimicked Kobe's post moves in his driveway, rewinding plays until the footwork was perfect. He didn't just want to play basketball, he wanted to play like Kobe. The irony of Tatum becoming the face of the Los Angeles Lakers' most hated rival is not lost on anyone, especially not on him. In interviews, Tatum has openly described Kobe as his hero, a basketball god, and someone who meant everything to him. After Kobe's tragic passing in 2020, Tatum was one of the players most visibly shaken. He wrote tributes. He cried openly. And then he began to play with even more intensity. That year his game ascended. Not just statistically but spiritually. What's remarkable is how Tatum has managed to carry Kobe's mentality into his career without diluting his own identity. or betraying the team that now defines him. Because to channel the Mamba mentality while wearing a Celtics jersey is more than a contradiction. It's a paradox. It's almost poetic. Kobe Bryant was the ultimate Laker. 5 championships. Countless legendary performances against Boston. A Finals MVP who tormented the Celtics in 2010 to claim revenge for the loss in 2008. His rivalry with Boston was personal. And it was brutal. And yet, Tatum sees Kobe not through the lens of team allegiance, but through legacy. He was my favorite player, but now I carry his mindset into every game, no matter the opponent, Tatum has said. That mindset includes relentless preparation, emotional toughness, and a refusal to be anything but excellent. These traits were passed down like sacred knowledge in their now famous workouts during Tatum's rookie year. In the summer of 2018, Tatum got the chance to train one-on-one with his idol. It was a dream come true, but also a turning point. According to Tatum, Kobe didn't just offer drills. He spoke about the psychology of the game, about storytelling, about writing your own legend. And perhaps that's where the rivalry between the Celtics and Lakers finds new life, not just in the stat sheets, but in the inner lives of players like Tatum. Because while Kobe might have bled purple and gold, the lessons he taught Tatum now influence every green jersey drive to the hoop, every clutch three-pointer, every cold-blooded performance in the playoffs. When the Celtics face the Lakers, Tatum isn't just playing against a team. He's engaging in a layered drama, a symbolic battle. On one side, the team of his childhood dreams. On the other, the team of his professional purpose. The tension in those moments is not just on the court, it's inside him. This complexity adds depth to Tatum's presence in the rivalry. He's not just another Celtic trying to beat the Lakers. He's a man trying to outplay the ghost of his own hero. And in doing so, he both honors and challenges Kobe's legacy. He taught me how to carry myself like a champion, Tatum once said. Now it's my job to become one. But this reverence doesn't make Tatum go soft against LA. In fact, it sharpens him. His best performances often come under the brightest lights, and Lakers matchups bring out something primal. He knows Kobe would want nothing less. Because for Kobe, greatness wasn't about friendship. It was about competition. Ruthless, honest, and beautiful. In that sense, Tatum's homage to Kobe is complete only when he beats the Lakers. Not as an act of betrayal, but as a tribute. That's what makes Tatum's role in the rivalry so unique. He's not just a participant, he's a bridge. A conduit between two eras. A player shaped by both sides of the conflict, now tasked with shaping the next chapter. And so, every time Tatum faces off against the Lakers, there's more at stake than just standings or pride. There's memory. Legacy. Echoes of the past and the weight of promise. As he steps onto the court, he carries Kobe in his heart, but Boston on his back. And that contradiction might just be what fuels his greatness. In a league filled with talent, trades, and trending topics, the NBA often feels like a fast-moving spectacle. One where storylines come and go with the flick of a notification. But amid the noise, there's one fixture that cuts through the clutter with the weight of history and the crackle of emotion. Celtics versus Lakers. Even in the modern era, far removed from the black and white grain of the 1960s or the Showtime glitz of the 1980s, the rivalry between Boston and Los Angeles still resonates. It's not nostalgia. It's a living, breathing tension. A cultural undercurrent that electrifies each matchup with something no algorithm can replicate. Meaning. For the fans, it begins long before tip-off. This is tribal. It's generational. Celtics fans don't just cheer, they inherit. Lakers fans don't just root, they represent. Families split loyalties across coasts. Cities erupt in passionate defense of their banners. It's red-blooded pride. Green versus gold. East versus West. Work ethic versus glamour. Defense versus dazzle. And in today's hyper-connected world, this emotional stake has only grown more complex. Social media gives every game a global stage. Rival clips go viral. Debates rage not just in bars and barbershops, but in comment sections and Twitter threads. A poster dunk by Jason Tatum over Anthony Davis can ignite 1,000 memes, think pieces, and arguments about legacy. Every Celtics-Lakers game becomes a digital war zone, and fans wouldn't have it any other way. But it's not just the fans who feel the weight. The players know what's at stake too. They might not have grown up watching Magic Johnson no-look passes or Larry Bird's dagger threes, but they've seen the footage. They've heard the stories. And when they walk into the arena wearing either jersey, they feel the history pressing down on their shoulders. Jason Tatum has spoken about it. You know the cameras are watching more closely. You can feel the atmosphere. These games just feel different. And it's true. Even when it's a regular season matchup, the energy feels like the playoffs. Every possession matters a little more. Every run is louder. Every win feels like a page added to a mythos that never ends. From the league's perspective, the Celtics-Lakers rivalry is gold, literally and figuratively. It's the NBA's crown jewel. TV ratings spike. Ticket prices surge. International audiences tune in, drawn by the heritage and drama. It's good business, but it's also good basketball. These games remind the league of its roots. Of what makes sport more than just sport: identity, history, pride. In an age where rivalries often get diluted, where players frequently change teams and form off-court friendships, Celtics versus Lakers remains rare. It resists dilution. Even with the evolution of the league, this rivalry keeps its edge. Why? Because it's not just about who plays, it's about what those jerseys stand for. And that's where someone like Tatum becomes essential. He wasn't alive during Magic versus Bird. He wasn't a part of 2008's intensity or 2010's redemption. But he understands the stage. He brings passion, poise, and purpose. When Tatum squares up against LeBron James or goes head-to-head with a rising Lakers star, it's not just generational, it's spiritual. It's past meeting present. It's the living continuation of a saga that refuses to die. But the emotional stakes don't stop with banners and bragging rights. These games touch something deeper in the players and fans alike: legacy. Every Celtics-Lakers game feels like an audition for eternity. Who will be remembered? Who will join the long pantheon of heroes and heartbreakers? Even moments that seem small in the standings, like a February road game or a pre-All-Star showdown, can become etched into memory because of the rivalry's gravitational pull. And in today's highlight-saturated culture, a single play, a block, a buzzer beater, a stare down, can immortalize a player. Tatum knows that. LeBron knows that. The league knows that. These games matter. Not just because of what they decide, but because of what they represent. They're reminders that the NBA isn't just entertainment, it's an epic. And every Celtics-Lakers clash is a new stanza in its most cherished poem. In the annals of NBA history, certain player matchups transcend the box score. They become emblematic, reflections of a broader passing of the torch, of generational power struggles wrapped in athletic brilliance. In today's Celtics versus Lakers rivalry, no dynamic captures this more potently than the ongoing battle between LeBron James and Jason Tatum. It's more than superstar versus superstar. It's legacy versus legacy in the making. LeBron James is a walking monument to basketball greatness. A four-time champion, four-time MVP, and the NBA's all-time leading scorer, he has dominated every decade since his debut in 2003. Now wearing the purple and gold of the Lakers, he has added a Hollywood chapter to his story, and in doing so, embedded himself in the most iconic rivalry in basketball. LeBron didn't grow up a Laker, but since arriving in Los Angeles, he has embraced the weight of that history, helping deliver banner number 17 in 2020. Enter Jason Tatum, a player who grew up idolizing LeBron. A player who once waited in the back of arenas hoping to get a glimpse of him. But that awe didn't last long. It couldn't. Because the moment they met in the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, Tatum shed the fan perspective and stepped into the role of challenger. That series remains a defining moment in Tatum's early career. At just 20 years old, he went toe-to-toe with LeBron in a 7-game slugfest. In Game 7, Tatum dunked on James with fearless force, then bumped him on the chest, a gesture not of disrespect but of a rival. That moment wasn't just a highlight, it was symbolic. The kid who once looked up to the king was now ready to face him as an equal. Since then, their meetings, especially when it's Celtics versus Lakers, have carried narrative weight. Tatum is no longer the prodigy, he's the standard-bearer of the Celtics. LeBron, now deep into his 30s, remains elite but is increasingly playing the role of elder statesman. Their duels are like time machines, juxtaposing past and future in a way that only sports can. From a stylistic standpoint, their differences reflect the evolution of the NBA itself. LeBron is physical dominance, basketball IQ incarnate, a freight train with court vision. Tatum is fluidity, skill, and control, more finesse than force but with the same killer instinct. When they meet on the floor, it's not just a matchup, it's a meditation on what basketball was and what it's becoming. And there's something uniquely poetic about these two facing off under the banners of the league's most storied franchises. LeBron, wearing Lakers gold, now defends the tradition once led by Magic and Kareem. Tatum, in Celtic green, carries the spirit of Bird and Russell. It's like the past refuses to stay in the past, it reincarnates in every head-to-head. What makes this generational clash even more fascinating is the mutual respect. Tatum has never hidden his admiration for LeBron's longevity and dominance. And LeBron has praised Tatum on multiple occasions, once calling him a problem for the league. There's no animosity, only competitive reverence. Yet when the lights are on and the jerseys clash, both men treat it like war. Their battles also speak to the psychology of leadership. LeBron's leadership is vocal, expressive, strategic. He is the general, orchestrating everything with intention. Tatum, on the other hand, leads more with demeanor, calm under pressure, emotionally grounded, choosing moments carefully to speak but always showing up when it counts. It's a quiet fire. And against LeBron, it burns brighter. For fans, watching LeBron and Tatum clash is witnessing a passing of the torch in real time, but without the certainty of when or even if the torch will fully pass. LeBron still has chapters to write. Tatum is still carving his. And the Celtics-Lakers rivalry gives them a grand stage to measure greatness against greatness. One day, younger players will say they grew up watching Tatum the same way he once watched LeBron. One day it will be Tatum mentoring the next challenger. But today? Today we're still in the middle of the story. And every Celtics versus Lakers game is a page worth saving. Because when Tatum stares across the court and sees LeBron in gold, he's not just seeing a rival. He's seeing a reflection of everything he wants to become, and everything he must surpass. Once upon a time, Celtics versus Lakers was a purely American obsession. A battle rooted in coastlines, in culture clashes between blue-collar Boston and glamorous Los Angeles. But that time is long gone. In the 21st century, this rivalry has evolved beyond national borders. It is no longer just East versus West, it's everywhere versus everywhere. Thanks to decades of NBA global expansion, Celtics versus Lakers has become a world event. It's no longer just a primetime game in the US, it's an early morning wake-up call in Tokyo, a midnight gathering in Madrid, a mid-afternoon ritual in Nairobi. Around the world, millions of fans circle their calendars for that date. They don't just watch, they invest. And that emotional investment runs deep. For many international fans, the Celtics and Lakers were the first teams they ever knew. The only teams whose legends transcended language. In countries where NBA broadcasts arrived late or sporadically, people often chose sides based on players, colors, or even fate. A fan in Brazil might have picked the Lakers because of Magic's charisma. A kid in the Philippines might have adopted the Celtics because of Bird's intensity. Over time, those loyalties hardened. And with every new generation, they've only grown. The NBA understands this power, and it fuels the fire. International broadcasts are tailored for maximum reach. Commentary is translated. Highlight packages are localized. The league sells Celtics and Lakers jerseys in 100+ countries, knowing full well that the logo means more than fabric. It represents identity, belonging. Today, if you walk through a basketball park in Lagos or Shanghai, there's a good chance you'll see someone in green or gold. And when Tatum and LeBron take the floor, those people aren't just watching, they're living it. Their cheers, their heartbreaks, their rivalries with friends thousands of miles away all feed the same story. The rivalry isn't just between franchises. It's between fan cultures that span continents. Social media has only intensified this global connectivity. Now, fans in Istanbul debate Lakers lineups with fans in Detroit. A Celtics dunk in a December game goes viral in South Korea. NBA Twitter during a Lakers vs Celtics matchup becomes a frenzied mosaic of languages, time zones, and traditions, all unified by a single game. Interestingly, each region embraces the rivalry differently. In Europe, where sports history is sacred, the longevity of Celtics-Lakers mirrors soccer rivalries like Real Madrid vs Barcelona. In Africa, where basketball is on the rise, the matchup represents aspiration, proof that greatness can come from anywhere and go everywhere. In Asia, the rivalry has evolved into a form of modern mythology, with Kobe Bryant's legacy as a global icon weaving deeply into how fans view both franchises. The cultural impact also extends into fashion, music, and art. Artists from France to Japan have painted murals of Kobe versus Pierce, or Tatum standing beneath the banners. Musicians drop Celtics and Lakers references in lyrics, tying themselves to the legacy. Streetwear brands collaborate with the NBA to launch limited edition collections themed around the rivalry. Even in countries with little basketball infrastructure, Celtics versus Lakers is known. It's not just a game, it's a symbol. What makes this so powerful is that the rivalry has managed to remain authentic. Even as it's grown global, it hasn't lost its soul. That's rare. Most sporting rivalries buckle under commercial pressure or fade into nostalgia. But Celtics versus Lakers persists because it keeps reinventing itself, through new players, new fans, new contexts. And in many ways, players like Jason Tatum and LeBron James act as global ambassadors. They're aware of the eyes watching. Tatum's calm swagger and LeBron's transcendent presence make them ideal icons for this worldwide audience. Every move they make on that stage, every shot, every stare, every celebration, ripples across the globe in real time. For the NBA, this is gold. But for fans, it's something more meaningful. It's connection. It's history passed down through a Wi-Fi signal. It's waking up at 3 a.m. to watch your team lose, and still wearing the jersey the next day with pride. It's arguing with someone halfway across the world about whether 2008 was more iconic than 2010. It's belonging to something ancient and alive. And so, as Celtics versus Lakers continues to evolve, it brings with it not just the weight of banners, but the heartbeat of the planet. A rivalry once confined to Boston and LA now stretches across oceans, deserts, and borders. And no matter where you are, when that ball is tipped, you're a part of it. In the entertainment-driven world of modern sports, narrative is everything. Stats matter. Skills impress. But what truly captivates fans, what turns games into memories, is the story. The arcs, the characters, the tension, the redemption. And in the NBA, no rivalry has shaped the league's storytelling machine more powerfully than Celtics versus Lakers. From the very beginning, this wasn't just a basketball matchup. It was cinematic. In the 1960s, Bill Russell's Celtics and Jerry West's Lakers created the original script. Unstoppable dynasty versus eternal challenger. The Celtics, stoic and defensive, kept winning. The Lakers, flashy and explosive, kept falling short. Russell lifting one trophy after another while West walked off in silence became an image burned into the league's collective memory. It wasn't just about who won. It was about why it mattered. And that became the blueprint for how the NBA would tell its stories from that point forward. Then came the 1980s, a decade that didn't just revive the rivalry, it rewrote the rules of sports storytelling. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird weren't just rivals. They were contrasts personified. Showtime versus grind. California charisma versus Indiana grit. Black versus white. Their rivalry transcended basketball. It became a reflection of American culture, race, and values, all through the lens of a basketball court. TV networks noticed. The NBA, still climbing toward mainstream success, leaned in. Every Celtics-Lakers finals was marketed like a movie premiere. Matchups were edited into highlight reels with swelling music and dramatic narration. Interviews became character studies. Fans didn't just cheer for a team, they picked a side in a saga. When Bird and Magic shook hands at center court, it wasn't just a show of sportsmanship, it was a narrative climax. A resolution. The NBA had learned the power of myth-making, and Celtics vs Lakers was its richest source material. The 2000s brought a new chapter with Kobe Bryant and Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Pau Gasol stepping into the spotlight. Once again, the rivalry delivered emotion, tension, and layered arcs. 2008 gave us the gritty redemption of the Celtics' Big Three. 2010, the ultimate rubber match, gave us Kobe's revenge. In both years, the NBA's media apparatus was in full force. Video montages, behind-the-scenes specials, and player interviews were crafted with precision. These weren't just games, they were episodes in a saga that spanned decades. And now, in the age of Tatum and LeBron, the storytelling continues, modernized, digitized, but no less compelling. LeBron, the aging king seeking to expand his legacy on the NBA's grandest stage, wears the same jersey that Magic once donned. Tatum, the cool, confident heir to Boston's lineage, seeks to etch his name among legends like Pierce, Bird, and Russell. Their storylines intersect at the perfect moment, one nearing the twilight, the other entering his prime. Every time they face each other, the NBA's content teams go to work. There are cinematic trailers before tip-off, slow-motion recaps, podcasts dedicated to breaking down the symbolism of each matchup. Social media explodes with fan art, throwback comparisons, and stat battles. The rivalry has adapted to a new era of consumption, but its emotional core remains intact. This storytelling power is what keeps the rivalry alive, even in years when the teams aren't both contending. It's why a Celtics-Lakers game in January can feel like June. It's why Tatum dropping 40 on the Lakers becomes more than a stat, it becomes a statement. Why a LeBron buzzer beater in Boston feels like déjà vu and prophecy all at once. What's most fascinating is how the NBA uses this rivalry to teach history. New fans who never saw Magic or Bird, Russell or West, are introduced to them through curated highlights and legacy packages when Celtics-Lakers week rolls around. It's storytelling used not just to entertain, but to educate, to anchor the present in the weight of the past. Even players participate in this continuity. Tatum has referenced watching Celtics-Lakers clips from the 80s. LeBron speaks about the honor of adding to the rivalry's legacy. They're not just competing, they're performing in a drama that stretches across generations. In the end, Celtics vs Lakers is the NBA's Shakespeare. A story of ambition, rivalry, redemption, downfall, and triumph. Told in quarters, written in sweat, edited with emotion. And the league will never let it fade because it doesn't need to. As long as two players take the court wearing green and gold, the next chapter will always be waiting. Not all games are created equal. For NBA players, every night on the schedule brings challenges, travel, matchups, physical toll. But when the calendar says Celtics vs Lakers, something changes. The court feels smaller. The lights feel hotter. The history feels louder. And the jersey? Suddenly it's a little heavier. That weight is psychological, a legacy pressing against your shoulders with a silent demand, be great or be forgotten. For players on either side of this storied rivalry, the mental pressure begins long before tip-off. It starts with the whispers, media headlines, highlight reels from the 80s, pregame montages featuring Bird, Magic, Kobe, Pierce. A simple matchup becomes a measuring stick. It's not just about playing your best. It's about proving you're worthy of the fabric you wear. Jason Tatum has acknowledged this many times. He's spoken about what it means to wear the same jersey as Paul Pierce, to see Russell's banner hanging above him. There's no hiding, he once said. Everyone before you left something behind. You have to leave something too. For Tatum, the Lakers game is more than rivalry, it's legacy work. It's personal. It's defining. LeBron James, despite not being drafted by the Lakers, feels it too. Since arriving in LA, he has embraced the franchise's mythology. There's a responsibility that comes with this uniform, he told reporters. And when it comes to Boston, the man has scars. His battles with the Celtics stretch back to his early career. Playoff heartbreaks in Cleveland, triumphs in Miami, showdowns in purple and gold. Every time he walks into TD Garden, ghosts greet him. And yet he plays through them. For both, the rivalry becomes a kind of mental theater, where memories, expectations, and emotions collide. This psychological load is often unspoken, but it manifests in the details. The tightened jaw during the national anthem. The extra film session the night before. The way players talk just a bit less in warm-ups, their focus razor sharp. Coaches say they don't need to deliver fiery speeches before a Celtics-Lakers game. The players are already lit. And while pressure can sharpen some, it can shake others. Role players, those who typically shine in low-pressure moments, often find the Celtics-Lakers stage to be overwhelming. Shots fall short. Passes go astray. The awareness that millions are watching, that decades of history are attached to every possession, can cloud even the most seasoned minds. On the flip side, some thrive in that spotlight. Kobe Bryant, famously obsessed with legacy, craved the Celtics rivalry. He called the 2010 finals win over Boston the sweetest, because of what it meant historically. Paul Pierce once said that beating the Lakers in 2008 meant more than the title itself. It was about where it placed him in Celtics lore. Today, Tatum, Brown, LeBron, and Anthony Davis all carry that same emotional calculus. A 40-point game against Charlotte might look good on a stat sheet. But a game winner against the Lakers? That gets replayed forever. That earns whispers of next in line. The psychological pressure also comes from outside voices, former players, media, and even the fans. Celtics alumni watch closely when Boston faces LA. They tweet, they comment, they call. Lakers legends do the same. No other game brings out more reactions from retired greats. That adds fuel and fear. Nobody wants to be the one who let the legacy down. Social media amplifies everything. Every missed shot is clipped. Every clutch moment is turned into a GIF. The mental stamina required to stay focused amid that noise is enormous. Some players lean on routines. Some avoid their phones. Some embrace the chaos. But all of them feel it. And here's the paradox. While this pressure is exhausting, it's also desired. Because with that weight comes opportunity. To not just be part of the rivalry, but to define it. One shot, one moment, one defensive stand can place a name alongside legends. That's why players push through the pressure. That's why they crave these games. Because Celtics versus Lakers isn't just a basketball game, it's a mental crucible. And if you survive it, if you shine in it, your story becomes part of the myth. In today's NBA, the faces change faster than ever. Superstars retire, rookies rise, teams rebuild, and narratives shift. But some stories refuse to fade. Celtics versus Lakers is one of them. While the players who made the rivalry iconic may be long gone, or nearing their final seasons, the legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the next generation. For many of today's rising stars, Celtics-Lakers isn't just a chapter in a history book. It's the standard. Even those born after the 1980s grew up with the echoes of Bird and Magic, Pierce and Kobe, Garnett and Gasol. Highlights are readily available, documentaries are streamed globally, and legends are retold on social media. The message is clear. If you want to be great, you have to matter in this rivalry. That's why young players, whether drafted by Boston, Los Angeles, or watching from afar, respect this matchup with almost mythical reverence. Jason Tatum is the living embodiment of this mindset. Born in 1998, long after the rivalry's golden years, he still speaks about Celtics-Lakers like a sacred duel. You grow up watching those battles, he said. Even if you weren't alive when they happened, you felt them. You knew what they meant. Tatum has embraced not just the Celtics brand, but the burden of it. When he faces the Lakers, he's not just competing, he's contributing to a timeline that began before he was born. And it's not just Tatum. Young Lakers like Austin Reeves have begun to understand the weight of the rivalry through experience. When he hits a big shot against Boston, he sees the crowd react differently. The praise, the pressure, the tension, it all escalates. It's more than a regular season game, he said. You can feel it before the ball even tips. This awareness is part of the NBA's long-term strategy. The league makes sure rookies understand what these franchises represent. Summer League players wear Celtics and Lakers jerseys with the full knowledge that they're stepping into something bigger than themselves. Coaches and executives remind them, this isn't just about development, it's about identity. That sense of identity influences play styles, attitudes, and aspirations. Players who grow up idolizing Kobe often dream of wearing purple and gold, not just because of individual greatness, but because of what it means to face Boston. Similarly, players who admire the Celtics' history of team-first basketball and defensive grit seek to be the next Smart, the next Pierce, the next Russell. The rivalry also shapes draft narratives. When a high-potential player lands on either team, the media doesn't just analyze their skill set. They ask the bigger question: can this player uphold the legacy? That kind of framing isn't given to most franchises. Only a select few carry that kind of cultural weight. And as the NBA becomes more global, the Celtics-Lakers myth grows accordingly. Young prospects from Europe, Africa, and Asia mention the rivalry in interviews. Some watch old finals before joining the league. Some already have their side picked before they even set foot in America. The branding is that powerful. What's interesting is that many of these players didn't live through the rivalry firsthand, but they've absorbed it through highlights, YouTube clips, 30 for 30 specials, and social media debates. The storytelling machine around Celtics-Lakers has successfully turned history into fuel for the future. This is important because the health of a rivalry depends on its ability to evolve. If it lives only in the past, it dies. But when young stars step up with reverence and ambition, wanting to write their own chapter, it keeps the fire alive. We're already seeing that. Tatum and Brown are writing new verses in green. Young Lakers, whether it's Reeves now or someone else in the near future, are chasing their shot at purple and gold glory. And with LeBron eventually passing the torch, someone will be tasked with carrying the Lakers side of the story into the next decade. What will that next era look like? It could feature international duels, maybe a European-born superstar leading Boston, or a South American phenom headlining LA. It could bring a revival of finals clashes. Or maybe we'll get a 7-game conference series that redefines what the rivalry means in a modern context. No matter how it unfolds, one thing is clear: young players care. And that might be the most important factor of all. Because when a rookie walks into TD Garden or Crypto.com Arena with goosebumps, when he plays a little harder just because the jersey across from him says Lakers or Celtics, you know the rivalry is alive. In that moment, the past and future merge. And the story once again moves forward. In the world of sports, few rivalries achieve immortality. Many flare brightly and fade away. But Celtics versus Lakers burns with a steady, unquenchable flame, decade after decade, generation after generation. Why? Because this rivalry is more than basketball. It's a story of dreams, struggles, triumphs, and heartbreaks. It's a microcosm of competition at its most profound. The game is played on hardwood floors, but its meaning extends far beyond the court. It represents the essence of the NBA's identity, a league built on legendary figures, dramatic narratives, and passionate fan bases. It's a rivalry that reminds us why we watch the game at all. When Jason Tatum says that Celtics versus Lakers still makes the NBA better, he isn't just praising competition. He's recognizing something vital. The rivalry elevates every player, every team, every fan. It creates a stage worthy of greatness. Think about it. What else in basketball carries this kind of weight? Other rivalries may be fierce. Others may be culturally significant. But few carry the historical depth, the global reach, and the emotional resonance that this one does. From Bill Russell to LeBron James, from the Garden to the Staples Center, from Boston Green to LA Gold, the rivalry encapsulates the league's soul. It teaches lessons beyond wins and losses. It's about legacy, how history is respected and challenged. It's about identity, how players and fans find belonging and meaning. It's about storytelling, how moments become myths and myths become legends. The rivalry also challenges the NBA to keep growing while honoring its roots. It's a bridge between past and future, a reminder that every shot, every pass, every defensive stand has context. That greatness is never created in isolation. It's built on the shoulders of giants. As the league globalizes, the Celtics-Lakers rivalry remains a universal language, a story understood by fans in Tokyo, Lagos, Madrid, and beyond. It connects diverse cultures through shared passion. It unites generations through shared memory. And as new stars rise, like Tatum today and the unknown heroes of tomorrow, they are called to write their own verses in this ongoing saga. They carry a responsibility, yes, but also an incredible honor. Because to wear these jerseys is to be part of something eternal. That's why the rivalry endures. It's not just about competition. It's about what basketball means at its highest level. A fight for greatness, a quest for immortality, a celebration of human spirit. In the words of Tatum, it makes the NBA better. But more than that, it makes basketball itself better. And as long as the Celtics and Lakers face each other, that flame will never die.